Okay, so this next assignment we're going to do is called Baldy Altermatt Field. So we're going to be working with a couple of images, one of the bleachers here at the baseball stadium, and one of a couple football players. And you can choose which football player picture you will use. First thing you'll do in the handout folder, high school, Adrian, digital imaging, quarter 1, week 1, there should be a folder called Baldy Altermatt. And you're going to open up the Baldy Field copy. This is an example of a finished image. Okay, what you're going to be doing is editing this picture, adding some things in, trying to make it look naturalistic to make this scene kind of whatever you want. Okay, but first you're going to notice when you open this picture up that there seems to be a raccoon on the ground that's partied a little too hard maybe the night before. First thing I want to do is get rid of that because we don't want people seeing that when they drive up to the field, obviously. We want this to look like a nice image. So we're going to use the clone stamp tool to get rid of that, just like we did with the wording on the couple on a beach. So I'm going to start by making a new layer, and I'm going to title it Clone Stamp Tool or just Cloning. Get my clone stamp tool selected, make sure I'm on this layer. I have current and below selected, and I can adjust my size and my hardness. Make sure I get zoomed in on this raccoon. We want this to look naturalistic. I'm going to select from over here and kind of start covering him up right there. So it's fairly straightforward, just using the clone stamp tool like you learned how to use it before. I want to get rid of his shadow too because we want it to look like he was never there. Okay, so once we get rid of that, then you're going to want to go back to your handout folder and open up one of these two football pictures. You can choose which one you like more. I'm going to open up this one. Now before we went over how to use the polygonal lasso tool to make points, to crop something out, and then using a layer mask, which you can do. But we're going to go over a different method, which might actually be a little easier. So you're going to want to get the Quick Selections tool, not the magic wand, we need the Quick Selection tool. Make sure your brush is fairly small, mine's at about 30 right now. And what you're going to do is just kind of click inside of the football player and then just drag, making sure you're keeping your mouse inside of the player the whole time. So this is going to select pixels all the way around it. The Quick Selections tool has the capability to see where pixels change dramatically, so it can find the edges of objects. It does not do a perfect job, but it does a pretty nice job. Okay, and if like I just did, if you accidentally get too much selected, then you hold down the Alt key and a little minus will come up in your brush, and then just drag around the part that you did not mean to select. And the Quick Selection tool actually does have a memory, so it will remember what you absolutely wanted selected fairly well. Okay, so you're going to kind of get the general shape like this, and then you're going to want to zoom in because you're going to want to see what you missed. You want to make sure, like here I missed part of the helmet, you want to make sure that you get all of the players selected. If you get part of the background in there, that's okay. We'll use a layer mask again to get rid of it, but it's better to get a little bit of the background accidentally selected than miss part of the player. So Carrie missed part of the jersey. So you go back through with a much closer view and make sure you're not missing anything. So I got most of it selected here now, or I have all of it selected, but some of the background also. And so once I have it selected, I'm going to go ahead and hit Control-C, which copies it. Go back to my Baldy field picture, hit Control-V, and that will paste it in. Okay, and oh, I can see right away I missed part of his jersey. So I'm just going to hit Control-Z, which cancels that. This is why I kept this selected while I did that. So I can go back and fix this real quick. And now I can see the part of the jersey I missed. So I'm going to grab that. Okay. Once again, Control-C, Control-V. Okay. That looks better. Now I'm going to zoom in on him here. I'm going to create another layer mask on this layer, which was that rectangle with a circle cut out of it. Make sure I'm on that white rectangle. Get my brush. I need to have the black on top. And then I'm going to control my size and my hardness. Hardness I don't want at 0 or 100. I think I'm going to go more around 70. Because I do want a clean edge, but it always helps blend in a little bit to the background when there's a little bit of a softness to the brush. Okay, so then I'm just going to go around and make sure I eliminate any part of the background. And remember, if I accidentally cut into him, I don't have to undo. I can hit X, which will bring the white up front here, and paint back in anything that I accidentally painted out. Okay, so I'd go all the way around here. With his shoes, it might be a little trickier. What you might want to do is get the brush a little bigger and maybe the hardness a little softer, because you're going to help get that soft quality of the grass away. Because you can't see all the bottom of his shoe because of that grass. Same thing over here. Just use a softer brush. So it's what kind of blends in. But otherwise, use a harder brush to get all of those edges. And something a little smaller. Okay, so you'll go ahead and get this whole thing cropped out. You got to go all the way around these edges, making sure you eliminate the background and make it look clean, like here, a little piece of grass. Okay, and then the next video we'll go over the next part.